Hey everyone, it is Demo Donna here, and I am so excited to show you how to put together this Sweet Love treat box. Perfect timing for Valentine's Day, or just a great little way to say happy anniversary or thinking of you. So this is a card that has a full-on card base here. And then you're also getting Velcro in your kit so you can make a cute little treat box that opens and closes. So the Velcro helps keep your card closed, so when it's just sitting, it doesn't pop up like that. So there you go. I also wanted to add, if you wanted to convert this into a shaker, really simple. Take your double-sided foam adhesive, just wrap that all the way around. You would forego the little hinge that we are going to be doing to put this together as an open treat box. So you're not going to do the hinge part and just pour all of your little sprinkles on the inside, whatever you want to put inside of your shaker, and then just glue that right on top. So you've already got the acetate sheet. Your great little box is all set and ready to go. You just need your foam. That would be the only difference. Let me know if you need questions. I hope I made that clear. Okay, the materials needed, you do need white card bases for this. I did not include the card base on for this class, but we will be putting those together at the end. All right, let's get started, shall we? I think the first thing we're gonna do is create the base of our box. So you get in your kit enough for 2 of everything, enough for 2 of your cards, and I am gonna kind of separate this out. I did already cut my acetate. The acetate sheet is going to be 4 by 5 1/4. So just a little bit smaller than the A2. And there's my one hinge. And then this is going to be my card base. So you're gonna get this. And then I'm just gonna go ahead and take my paper cutter and cut that in half. And again, for anyone watching and needing to grab a new paper cutter, the Caterpillar Crop is one of my favorites, and if you use code DEMODONNA, you get a nice discount. I think it's 15%, which is a pretty chunky discount. Okay, so your piece is 5 1/2 by 8 1/4, 8 1/2, 8 1/2 by 11, yeah, 5, bloop, bloop, bloop. I'm new. No, I'm not new, just kidding. All right, 5 1/2 by 8 1/2, and then you are just gonna cut it to the A2 size. So now I have 2 5 1/2 by 4 1/4 for both of my cards. So I'm gonna set that aside. And you also had a sheet of acetate, either 2 separate sheets or you've got one longer sheet. And like I said, that is gonna be 4 inches by 5 1/4, so that's a little smaller than your A2. And then for your card base, so normally you would just cut this in half, which you can absolutely do. When I layer like a regular A2, I tend to make my card base just like 1/8 of an inch smaller, just so it's easier for me to layer behind my card base if the card base is a different color and you don't see it. So I literally just cut 1/8 of an inch off. So that way when I layer my donut box, and I'll show you guys, that is it for the cutting. Cut, cut, chop, chop. Place that back down there. And now when you layer this card base on, you're not gonna see any of your white card underneath it. So you can see that, just that tiny little edge, and that is my little trick for having a white card base and a different color card front. Okay, back to putting this little cutie patootie together. We are gonna put these guys aside so we can get started on our creation here. Okay, so first what you're gonna do is you're gonna take one of your hinges, and I'm gonna also show you how I made these in case you wanted to recreate this. So I took my cardstock, I folded a piece in half, and then I took my die, and I'll show you the set this is out of, and I just placed it right under the cut line and ran that through my die cut machine, and that's how I created this little hinge. And this was the inspiration, and this is the Box of Donuts dies by Pink and Main. I did incorporate some other donut dies, and I will put the links to those right there in the description. So you have all of those goodies and you can recreate this. That's the fun part. Okay, so I am gonna take my adhesive and I am gluing just one side. And layering that right on there. Make sure you could fold it over. There we go. And either it should be perfectly aligned with this, or it could also be just a little bit smaller. I think at first when I was creating the kits, I was making them just a tiny bit smaller, but either way works just fine. All right, next what you're gonna do is you're gonna take, so you have 2 of these per card, and I'm gonna take this one here, and I'm gonna place it right here, and we are gonna glue the hinge right onto this piece. So I flipped it over, so the pretty side is facing down. And then I'm gonna just butt that up right against the front of my card and then fold this guy down. Again, can line it up. You're gonna wanna squish it in there a little bit. There we go. And that is now what we have. We have the inside of our donut box. Okay, next, you are gonna take, you can either do this with glue, you can do this with some red liner tape. I think I'm gonna do a little bit of both, actually. I'm gonna use my Easy Tear tape. It's almost time for another one. This guy's getting tiny. And I'm gonna do like a little strip here, a little strip here, and I'm gonna do a strip up top as well. Let me try to get better into frame there so you guys can see everything. So I just added a little bit of Easy Tear tape, and that's available at Pink and Main as well, and you guys all know the drill. If you make some purchases over there, make sure you use code DEMODonna and you will get a lovely little thank you gift. Okay, so I am going full glue all over. There we go. And then I am placing, just kind of hovering it over to make sure it's gonna be fine no matter where you put it. So I just wanted to make sure that nothing was sticking out, like right there. It's kind of sticking out a tiny bit, but I'm leaving it. It's fine. You can also trim it if you have a tiny piece sticking out. And then I'm gonna repeat that. So I'm gonna add a little bit of tape And I don't know if you've noticed, but I'm really trying not to touch the acetate as much as possible. It's kind of difficult. I had to use 2 different types. The first brand of acetate that I used had a film on it, so you couldn't even wipe your fingerprints off. It was for printer. It's what I normally buy. And so I had to find something else that wasn't as fragile. So this acetate worked nicely, and I believe I picked it up at Michael's actually. At my Michael's, they had exactly 1 pack left, and they were 12 by 12. So they do definitely vary. Okay, and now I'm just layering that top piece right on top. And I do have like a tiny little sliver of acetate sticking out that no one will notice. Let's see if it's even big enough for me to cut. Barely. All right, that's good though. Okay, and now we have our really fun donut box. Really simple, really fun, and easy. And then this guy is gonna go on our card base here, but we'll do that after we put our donuts in. Okay, now we're gonna build our donuts, everybody. And you have plenty of fun little guys to go on your donuts. So keep that in mind. Okay, I am gonna take my little heart ones, and this is optional. So I put the centers back in just so the sweet love saying is easier to read. So it's, if you don't want, by the way, this is the fun part about this card. You can, at this point, lay out your cute little donuts and cookies however you want. So if you want heart sprinkles on some, or no heart sprinkles, or you have something in your stash that you would rather use, go for it. Get crazy. Okay, so I'm going to take these pink frosting on my cute little cookies, and we are going to add that right over there. There we go. And my second one. Too bad it doesn't smell like fresh donuts in here. I clearly should be burning like a vanilla candle. Okay, so there are our sweet little heart-shaped donuts slash cookies, whatever you want yours to be. And I am gonna put the words on after I adhere them into my card, so I make sure that I can see them and they're lined up, and that makes it a little easier. Then we were gonna make some circle donuts. We're gonna grab 2 chocolate frostings, 2 sparkly vanilla frostings, and then kind of scooch these guys away. All right, vanilla, done. And my second one. All right, what's your favorite donut? Let me hear it. What is your go-to? Mine would be an apple fritter. Apple fritter, or I think my second favorite would be like a custard filling, but that's like crazy indulgent. But I'm definitely an apple fritter girl. I think because it's like crunchy, like it's a little like a harder texture. It's not like a soft, squishy donut. But I think after bite number 3, I then realized that I can't eat the whole thing, and it's just, you know, just a waste of $3. But who can throw away an apple fritter? So then you just have to finish it anyways. It's tough. It's tough to adult. All right. So with this kit, you have a ton, and be careful when you're opening. your package because all of these guys are loose because I cut them out with the actual insert on your packaging. So I'm just gonna flip all these over so I can just grab them. Would have been smart if I did this before the video, but I might just grab them anyways. You also have cute little kissy lips in your kit. So you can do one donut with those if you want. Lots of different sizes of hearts. So lots of fun. Also something to be aware of is there is a little mark from the die and you can cover that up. So like for instance, I'll make sure like I put a little topping on that, little sprinkle. All right, donut number 1. Donut number 2. It is so windy out there. I know they call these jimmies in some parts of the US. Okay, there are my 2 donuts, my 2 chocolate donuts. And then for these guys, we're gonna do some hearts. And I'm gonna have my hearts all facing the same direction. So I'm gonna do 5 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1 and 2, 3, 4, and 5. There we go. There's our cute little heart donut. And then we'll make a second one. And again, I am adding glue where that the die line is. So it kind of covers that up. There's 3, 4, and 5. I'm looking for hearts that are flipped over already. And one more little one. There we go. Fabulous. And now, my friends, you get to put your donuts in. Oh, no, I gotta add the glitter. Did you see what happened there? We almost put our non-glittery donuts in the box. All right, so you can use your glue pen. You could skip this altogether if you don't want to have any glue or any glitter on your donuts. So whatever works for you. You can use your glue pen or you can use a really thin glue tip. I would just recommend, if you're going to use a thin glue tip, to make sure that you let them dry thoroughly before putting them into your box with your lid so you don't squish the glue and get glue on your lid. We don't want that. All right, so I am gonna take my little glue pen here and I just did a squiggle, just a little squiggle. It does help if they're dry. It's like, hello, I'm still drying here. There we go. Just a little squiggle of glue. And I'm just gonna leave those there for a minute. I'm gonna lazy Susan my coffee filter. And add just a little line of glue. And then I traced over my X on both of my X and O. There we go. Sprinkle, sprinkle, sprinkle. And the glitter in your kit is a small sample of glitter in my stash. So I don't have a link for that, but if you need more glitter, I highly recommend just using the transparent ice rink, because you're putting this glitter on top of pink anyways, so that'll work and have pretty much the same effect. Okay, so I'm not using my cleanup brush just because I don't want to wipe off my glitter. So I'm just giving them each a little tap. And then you have a cute little XOXO. All right, we are gonna put that away. And then we are gonna put our box together. Okay, so we are just gonna start by laying out our donuts. And I do believe I went all the way to the edge. Yes. Okay, so all the way to the edge, and I leave a little space on the top and the bottom. So what I first did is I kind of spaced them out to see what kind of room I had. So I want my donuts to be touching and then go all the way to the end of the box, but not over. So you can kind of eyeball it, and that looks like it's good to me. So I'm gonna grab one donut and glue that on. Again, go all the way to the edge, but not over, as I keep pushing it over. Push that down. Don't touch your little glitter bits. And then the second one, I'm going to have them touching. And then we are going to do the same on this side. I am going to put them together and then glue one donut down. And I've left about maybe a 1/4 inch, maybe a 1/2 inch. It's a little over a 1/4, but it doesn't look like a 1/2. All right, there we go. Oh my goodness, they're so cute. This would be a good like teacher appreciation card too. You know me and my teacher appreciation cards. I want to go all the way to the edge. Push those down. Everyone is happy and glued in. Now we're going in for our hearts. I could peel this off. I stuck that little easy tear tape in there so I could have my little heart in the center. My first donut, my first heart donut or cookie. With the little center in there, it could be more like a cookie. All right, glue, glue, glue. And then that is gonna be close to that guy. So you can still see like the heart shape, but you want it nice and close. So there is my donuts. And now we are gonna add the words. So I'm gonna put my XOXO down, and I'm just gonna add a couple little dots of glue. I always say little and then I squeeze a little too much. You can also use your glue pen. There we go. So there is my XOXO. And then you've got your Sweet Love. And this is why it helps to glue these on once it's down, because you can really visually see the placement of these. So I think I'm gonna go right about there. I might pull the sweet down a little bit more. I think I like that. All right. Pull that open, add your glue dots, and then our final 2 steps are the Velcro, and our bling, and we're all set. Our cookies are baked, smell great, and ready to be delivered. Our cookies are donuts, you know what I mean. Okay, here is my love. And then I'm gonna take my Velcro, which is right here, and I am gonna take my scissors, and I am gonna stick them together. I gave you 3 or 4. I definitely gave you more than you need. You only need half of them, but I have a lifetime supply of these, so I'm gonna cut them in half. You can cut them in half together like I did, or if your scissors aren't very strong, you can cut them separately. Or you can use the whole piece, but I just wanted a little piece. And then peel the backing off, the front and the back. And I'm gonna add that right there, right under the little base of our heart. Boop. Glue my card down. Remember, we have it a little bit smaller, so none of it is sticking out, which makes it really easy. Okay, and last but not least, your bling. So you can add a little glue with these too. I don't think the adhesive is super strong. I think it's kind of like, I think there's some really good bling adhesive out there. I think this is kind of like a medium one. So if you're worried about your little bling popping off, you could always add a little extra glue. But there is our card, everybody. So in this kit, you get your 2 cards just like so. I just wanted to give you guys a heads up. The pinks vary a little bit. There are 2 different pinks. There's this version, which is darker, and then there's a slightly lighter one. And then I have 2 different versions of the pink as well. So there's a lighter pink and a darker one. So depending on what phase your kit was made, you could have both of those. But I want to thank you guys all so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this class. I have a fabulous class coming up. So make sure you check that out, and we will see you all soon. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.